That should be it. Was there any sound for you? I don't know if there's any sound.
Yeah, I got sound. I could hear the intro. Yeah.
You got sound. You're the lucky one.
What can I say?
Hello, everybody. Well, we've got one person watching. There's one person watching. How lucky are we?
Oh, we're brilliant. We're so lucky. Yes, hello, Mabel.
Come on. I'm just going to wanted to check that everything's on and I haven't fucked it all up, because there is an absolute chance that I have not set this up properly. Because that's what I do. Can you just have a check for me? What's happened? You keep on it.
You can go on there then if you want.
On it again.
Give me 1 second because I forgot. I haven't got the
that's
camera.
Right, buddy. Yeah, you do what you got to do. Is it really? Oh. Right, yeah, we're good. We're good to go.
We're good.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's Scott and Wanda as well, but it's the fat ugly one's back, and he's with his mate. It's shit can Dan.
Hi, welcome. Hello.
So people don't know. Me and Dan work together. We've become friends. About 6 months.
Yeah, about 6 months now. Yeah.
About 6 months, and obviously, people that don't know also, Dan works in a little tap room in Totton called Six Barrels. We've become fairly good friends over the last few months, and Dan likes a beer. I like a beer. Dan's bought some beers for the channel, and Dan likes sours.
Oh, I love a sour.
And I'm not a massive. I'm getting there with sours, Dan. You know, I'm trying harder with a sour. And obviously, Tesco's have brought out this new Vault City Raspberry Strawberry Coconut Ripple.
My lighting is terrible, but your lighting is
perfect.
Yeah,
don't worry about your lighting, mate. It's absolutely fine. And I said to him, he picked it up. He sent me a picture saying he picked it up. I've got this week off, and I said to him, why don't we do a joint review of this live, and we'll take a look at it. You're better placed with sours than I am. I'm an IPA and sort of stout and all those sort of bits and pieces. So yeah.
Yes, yeah, I'm much more of a sours guy. I also quite like the odd cider as well. I know you're more partial to you like your craft beers. Ciders have a lovely range of ciders. Come on now.
Ciders are just wrong. They're all sorts of wrong. Wanda likes a fruit cider and a sweet cider. Not for me.
Well, I don't know. It's I don't know. I've always been very hit and miss with beer. I think. I mean, even starting out drinking, Foster's, Carling, all the sort of swill that's available in the pubs. I mean, going back a little bit now, like 15 odd years ago.
You're a few years. I'm not going to give away how old you are. You're a few years younger than me, and we've had this discussion many times. We all start at a place with beer, and we all start in the same place. Foster's, Carling, Carlsberg. If you don't drink them, you're generally in the bitter side of that. So things like Old Speckled Hen, John Smith's, all those sort of stuff. And as you get older, your taste buds change, and your what you require from that beer cider changes as well.
Yeah, definitely. I remember a time being about 20 years old, and I must have spent a good year or two just drinking Tanglefoot. For some reason, it was hitting that note for me that I wasn't getting from the lagers that you get in the pubs.
Yep.
But yeah, to be fair, really the sours thing is more of a new thing for me, and I kind of have you to thank for that. Sort of chatting to you at work and stuff about like different craft beers and stuff. It sort of piqued my interest, and I wanted to try. And I tried a few, and I was like, IPAs, like I'm hit and miss with them. But when you I can't remember when we had a conversation. I think it was we saw a beer somewhere, or we were talking about it, and we were speaking about a sour beer, and it just piqued my interest. I was like, oh, that just sounds different. I've always been keen on sour sweets and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I tried one literally probably for the first time probably about 5-6 months ago, and it's just been consistent since then, pretty much.
For me, it's where at the moment it's where the real innovation in beer is. Obviously, you've got IPA, you've got West Coast IPA, East Coast IPA, New England IPA. You've got this fucking nonsense called mountain IPAs that sits in the middle. It doesn't do one or the other. You've got stouts, sweet stouts, all that. But actually, the sour range of beers is where the real innovation for me is coming from, because you can do all sorts with a sour. Is it particularly my style? No. But over the summer, I did learn to appreciate them a little bit more.
They are a great summer drink. They're
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I love this thing anyway, but there's something great about it being a really nice hot day and you drink a sour and it kind of puckers your lips and you kind of just get to sit for a few minutes and just kind of just taste it over and over again. And there's just something lovely and refreshing about that on like a really hot day, especially a good lemon sour beer.
So Brad Evans, hello Brad, how you doing, mate? Good friend of the channel. Yeah, I started out at the same place as everyone else with a beer fucking sober. Now I'm a pisshead because of you, Scott. Cheers, Brad. Gareth Marsden said, I'm Mark the Pondering Man's in as well. My good friend Mark. If you haven't seen Mark's video today, go and give it a watch. I sat there for 25 minutes howling with laughter. Just poured a vocation Toucan Tropic. That's in Asda. The sour should be good, fellas. Evening. Oh, what are we drinking? So where are you from? What are you drinking? Mark says Mountain IPA is just silly. And on that, mate, let's get this beer out. I know I've got a Vault City glass.
Oh, well, you're going to have to forgive me because I'll be honest, the dishwasher is on. So all I have to offer is this pathetic half-pint San Miguel glass. But it's a lovely looking glass.
It's a nice glass, so. That's all that matters, mate.
We'll forget the branding. I'll put it around the other way.
Well, the only reason I've got the Vault City glass is they did a release of a couple of beers. I can't remember what they were, and the Brewers Tap had them on, which you came with us to on Sunday, and they were giving away a free glass to the first 10 people that came in and bought both beers. So I was like, well, I'm having one of them then. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even have had it. In this light,
love a good glass.
It's like strawberry, raspberry, slushy sort of shit, mate, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very hazy. But I'll be honest, I that's the sort of like look I'm looking for in a sour.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be slightly worried if it was clear, but I mean, I'm sure I'd drink it anyway, or at least try.
Now, for me, and we've agreed on this. The stuff that's in Tesco's is entry level sour. They don't tend to be really sour. They tend to be sort of tart more than fucking face puckering, should we call them?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I will say when I saw you at Brewdog not too long ago, and we had that sour. As outraged as I was at the price, yeah, I must say it was a lovely sour. It was delicious, but yeah.
So Dan, for the people that don't know, he joined us at Brewdog Southampton last week and was absolutely outraged by the price of beers there.
I love Mark's comment there.
Oh yeah, the glass stop police just sent out a patrol to arrest Dan. All right, what we get? Let's go for the aroma.
Let's go for a nose. See, it looked like
I'm picking up coconut immediately.
Yeah. It's coconutty. It's kind of it's not overly sweet, but you can definitely smell the sweetness there, I think.
Yeah, you coconut, and you're getting the right, and it sort of lies behind that. You're picking up a faint raspberry and strawberry. I wouldn't say, but for me, it's all coconut.
I would say it's mostly coconut for me. I have not a particularly good sense of smell though, so I'm not surprised.
Cheers, mate. Let's go for it.
Cheers. Let's go.
That's not bad. It's not bad.
It's very nice. It's like you said before, with it being that supermarket level, it doesn't really have that super puckering almost knock you out for a second sort of taste, but it is delicious.
unlike the nose, that fruit comes for me. So you've got the raspberry and the strawberry to begin with, and then you're left with that coconut running right through from the middle, right the way through the end.
For me, I feel like I'm literally before the liquid has even touched my tongue, I'm already getting coconut. Like
okay.
It's almost like, as you know, sort of as I'm inhaling as I'm bringing the glass to my lip, it's already, I feel that coconut, and then yeah, but that raspberry, the raspberry was kind of punches, but then fades away. I mean, I would like it to linger for a bit longer, but then I want that real kind of.
You want the sour bite, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I really do. But I could quite happily drink this.
Yes, it's
more of that in the can.
Yeah, for me, I'm getting it's the fruit up front, and that the coconut's there, and then I'm left with coconut all the way through it, and it's actually. I'm just going to read what's on the can. I can't read it without my glasses, so I'm going to have to put them on. This velvety smooth, ice cream inspired sour beer is refreshingly sweet and tart in equal measures. I agree with that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Our vegan-friendly dessert-style sour is jam-packed with raspberries, strawberries, coconut, and vanilla. Vanilla. I'm not picking any vanilla out.
Get a big hit of that vanilla if I'm honest. But yeah.
For an authentic flavour, so big you could stick a flake in it.
I mean, it's. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I mean, I don't know. I feel maybe I'm being a little bit harsh when it is authentic. It's an authentic flavor. I'll let them have it. I don't know. It's really nice. It's what I will say, as I think any good sour should be, for me at least anyway. It's very Moorish. I want to go back and keep sipping and trying a bit more and getting that flavor again.
They call these. I don't know if they call all of their beers this, or it's just. I'm not massively. The man that's in the chat, if he's still here, he will know more than me because it's up his way. Mark the Pondering Man. Obviously, Vault City are the kings, queens. No discrimination here of sour beer, and they call these modern sour beers, and. I don't know if that's just the supermarket arm calling them that, or is it the rest of it? Obviously that for me again, I really like it. I'm going to be honest, I do like it. That coconut is really nice. I agree with you that it hasn't, again, from a supermarket beer, it hasn't got that puckering nature to it, and which I don't mind because it makes it more drinkable.
Yes. I mean, the thing is as well is, as much as I want the puckering and that real like sour bite, I think from a supermarket beer, this is sort of the level really you want, because it's very sessionable. I think, and again, at the end of the day, you can't go and put in one of your super niche beers into the supermarket and hope it's going to do well. It might not do if you don't make it palatable for, you know. I think you and Dean were actually touching on it in one of your videos the other day. You know, about how you've got, the supermarkets have kind of got to make something that people like getting into craft beer and stuff, or getting into sours, are going to be like, oh, this is nice, I want to explore more, rather than hitting them straight away with like all of those hops, or hitting them straight away with all that sour.
I've always said that for a little while actually, and I know there are other reviewers that have said exactly the same, that you can't. That people moan sometimes about the quality of supermarket beers and etc. But if you were to give them, if you were to put Oregon Trail into a supermarket as a West Coast IPA, and someone would pick that up thinking, oh, I like that can art, I'll try that, and the bitterness would just blow their mind, and it would probably put them off craft beers forever. So I get that supermarkets sit right in the middle of they've got to appease a whole realm of people, and they've also got to bring in new people as well. And certainly in the sour department, that's got to be very difficult.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I'm struggling to think just straight off the bat drinks that are immediately sour that aren't like, you know, like alcoholic, like your sour shots. You know, so it's going to be a hard sell for, I think, for a sour anyway. Which maybe possibly touching back on your previous point is maybe why they've called it a modern sour beer.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds a little bit nicer than sour beer.
Yeah. And obviously, the thing with the Vault City stuff, all very bright cans. They do stand out. I mean, I went up to the Tesco's by me today, and they've had none. They've had none of the new stuff in at all. And it's only I was wandering around. Wanda was looking for whatever she was wandering around for. I popped over for the and thought, well, I'll have a quick look. And saw that in. I thought, oh, no, I said to you that well, I'll pick it up and we'll have a look at it together.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I know you've had the other ones that are in the soup. Hello, buddy. You're right.
I have.
You've had the maple syrup one and there's a mango one.
Yes, there's a fruited mango one. I've had, to be honest, I've had quite a few of the Vault City ones. There was, I believe, a black. I'm trying to look at my cans to see if I can see. I think all the Vault City ones are behind, but they've done some really nice ones. They've done like the mango one's quite nice. I do like it. It's not super up my alley because I'm not a huge lover of mango, but it's quite nice. Again, it's a lot of their beers are very similar to this. It's this sort of style where you're not going to be overly offended by this sour like overtone that's going to just like crash into your senses, but it's a very sessionable beer and it's a great introduction into sours, which I'd like to see personally. It would be nicer to see a wider range in the supermarkets, you know, even of this sort of quality, because like I say, I'm totally fine with this quality. And you know, I mean, that would be great to me. You know, I can get sort of like, you know, cheaper, you know, bigger quantity amounts of beer at a better price from the supermarkets, maybe a sour like in a 6-pack or something, where it's going to, you know, it's going to cost me a little less. And then I can go to a bottle shop or like a brewery for my like selective sours that are really going to hit home. I mean, I still haven't tried that Brewdog one that I got.
Well, the Overworks one you picked up.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that.
That's one of the Cosmic Crushes, wasn't it?
It is, yes. It's the Cosmic Crush.
I mean, Brewdog get, and I know Mark's in the chat. Brewdog get a bit of a whacking, but their Overworks project, where it's their experimental side, a lot of their Overworks stuff is absolutely fantastic. And I was saying to you, they did a beer that was in it was on one of the first waves of Tesco beers, which was Funk X Punk. So it was Punk IPA fermented with Brett yeast. So Brett's a wild yeast. So it gave it a slightly funky, sour taste and aroma, and it was fucking brilliant, absolutely fucking brilliant. And sadly, I mean, it was £5 a bottle, but it was about a 500 ml bottle, so it was a decent size for the price, and it was cracking.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, then also that's just a good. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be happy with the price I paid for that Overworks bottle when I actually try it, when I get round to trying it.
I bet you're not. I bet you're moaning about it.
Well, you know what? Since you've touched on it, I'm going to say, because I can see it. I know I'm going to see this comment at the bottom there about how much they were charging for a pint. And what I will say is, they weren't charging, because it was charging for half a pint, which is, I know it's a thing that is done, but I'm very old school. I like to be able to go into a place and I want to have a pint.
Also, the difference being is, and we've not discussed this side of it. Sorry, he goes running around like an arsehole. Obviously, you work in a tap room.
Yes.
So you know what you charge or what your tap room charges. So you've you've got it in your head also what's acceptable on your level to be paying.
Yeah. I mean, when like the half pint of my sour cost almost as much as the most expensive pint in my place, you're like, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I think that's it. I mean, you probably hit it there. Is working in like a little craft ale sort of bar tap room. I know exactly the prices that I usually pay for what sorts of beer. And don't get me wrong, it was a lovely sour, but and even then, I suppose we do have sours come in from time to time, and again, serve them in pints, and it's just
It's like it's when you up to the bar and you ask for a pint of the sour, and they were like, "No, we only do it in half." And you sort of looked at him in disgust. They say, "I'm after a fucking pint. I'll have it. I'm gonna have it. Give me it."
well, I just I mean, the problem is it felt to me like I'm there and I'm looking at it and I'm like, I feel like I'm just like, this looks to me like Brewdog's taking advantage. I'm not saying that's how it is, but just my gut reaction was like, well, what you're charging? Like, I think it was like $5.50 for half a pint, and I'm like, I do get, I don't know. I mean, and even then, like, I think their cheapest was still only like, I don't even think there was one that was for something. Was there that was on that board?
To be fair, we went to the Brewdog Collab Fest. For one reason, we went because Fallen Acorn had a beer there. Like Fallen Acorn, they're a local brewery to us. Try and support local as much as we can here, and I like Tim, who's I mean, the highlight for me was me stood by the Brewdog bar with the fridge, slating all of the beers in their fridge, with the bloke behind the bar looking at me, and Tim trying not to laugh.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, I feel sorry for those bar people, really. You were slating off all the beers. I was outraged at prices and demanded pints rather than half pints. They must have thought, fucking hell, who are these people that have just come in?
Yeah, I wish I can come in now. I'll tell you what, there's a nice creaminess to that. For I think it's £3.50. That's a nice beer. In the summer, I think they've released it at the wrong time. In the summer, that would have been fucking lovely.
That would, it would be delicious. I mean, I was going to say it does have a lovely mouthfeel to it.
Mark Jones said, "I absolutely. Did you try the Iron Brew sour? I don't like sours. Sorry, where's that gone? Fucking, that's the trouble. I don't like sours till I try that. I didn't try the Iron Brew sour. What did I had an Iron Brew something. I might have done. I might have had that. I can't remember. I've had an Iron Brew something. Mark, you have to go back and have a look, mate. I ain't got my memory's shot to bits. Wanda, did we do the Iron Brew sour? No. There's no further forward on that. I've got a feeling that we did that. We did that against a can of yeah, we did. Yeah. We've had that, Mark. The research and development team is just confirming that we have done the Vault City Iron Brew Sour. And I seem to remember it was pretty good, to be fair. But yeah, my memory's shot to bits, mate. I ain't got a fucking clue. Pint of some Brewdog's beer costs you about 25 quid these days.
Oh,
no. You'll get down going.
Oh, I'm not. I'm going to try not to because I'm not. I don't want to go off on a subject that I don't feel like I am super well enough informed about to really have the right to make that sort of. Just 25 quid. Fuck's sake! I mean, come on.
God damn, go for it. I don't care. It's my channel. You can say what you fucking like.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the thing is, it's my gut reaction. It's not something that necessarily I have enough information about. But 25 quid for a pint. I mean, like breweries are struggling out there. I know, like with like pints being like 5 to 6 quid. I mean, the most expensive pint I think at the moment in the Six Barrels where I work is $6.60 for a conflux, a pint of conflux, which I think is our most expensive pint. And I know that, like, you know, breweries and stuff are struggling with those sort of prices, but sometimes I'm just like, where does Brewdog get off charging them sort of prices? I mean, I see Death by a Cocktail there as well, with like
Graham,
£14 for a 330. I mean,
I don't remember prices often, but get my fucking glasses on again. 47, getting old. Don't remember prices often, but paid £14 for a 330 milliliter limited release of Brewdog's Paradox about 10 years ago. It was great. Well, they had in Southampton, they had Dog K? They had in there, which was about £16 a bottle. I remember Wanda bought me. I can't remember what the fucking hell it was called now. And that was about 10 quid a bottle. It was a Vietnamese coffee stout at about 900% before I started the channel. And she's like, what's it like? I'm like, and I'm sat here thinking, completely honest, I hadn't started the channel, wasn't really into Imperial Stout. So I sat there going, it's really nice. It's really nice. I'm like, the fuck is this shit? Like, what the hell is this shit, man? It's like I could tarmac the fucking road with it. It's like, what's happening? And
checking it doesn't say creosote on the bottle.
Yeah, it's like it's only because we've been over there. I was like, oh, that looks nice. So it's a Vietnamese coffee stout or something. 10-ton truck. It was called something like, mate. It almost killed me. And I'm sat there thinking, she's like, oh, is it nice? I'm like, fucking hell, I'm gonna fucking die. This is me. It's the end of me. But now, I love an Imperial Stout, but before you sort of your palate adjust, and then it's like, and you're absolutely the price. I mean, people that haven't tried it, that mint Imperial Stout that's in from Vocation in Tesco's for £4 a bottle. I know it's only a 330ml bottle. It's fucking brilliant. It is, because mint has a real problem in beers that it can come across as toothpaste and really sort of fake and horrible, and that doesn't. And I'm going to get a load of them and just have them over the winter period because it's lovely. I've done the I don't want to give too much away. I've done the Death Star 3.
Yeah. Oh, well, we won't give anything away. We won't give anything away on camera.
It was, that's out tomorrow. It was going to be out tonight. Obviously, I've arranged this for you. I recorded it Tuesday night. Wait and see. You can buy it. I mean, it doesn't matter what I fucking think. I'm a fat bloke from Pompey that drinks beer for fucking next to nothing a month.
Oh, well, I mean, we try not to hold you in for Pompey against it.
I would happily buy that again.
I certainly would. Yeah, in a heartbeat, I would. Fucking cat's rubbed up against it, but yeah, I would definitely buy that again.
This? No, thank you.
It is lovely. Like you say, it's just a shame, really, that it's not like, you know, middle of summer and it's nice and hot outside and we're sat chatting, drinking these. It'd be even better.
So, did you try the Iron Brew Sour, Scott? Yes, is the answer to that. Yes, I did. I do remember now. It's in the shed.
Along with all the rest of the cans.
Yeah, well, not all of them, because I'd need.
Oh, some of them get destroyed. Yes,
massive shed. Mondo Dafters are prices. If it's short dated in home bargains, I will do without. Times are tough. Had some nice beers from them craft beers. What do I know? Hey, and that's the thing, mate. You know, the days of, and I've said this, I've been very honest about this. The days of us reviewing £8-9 a can beers generally, if you want that from Scott and Wanda, it ain't happening. You go and look. There's plenty of beer reviewers on YouTube. Go and look for them because they will review that. I can't afford it, and I can't turn around in good faith to Wanda and say, "Look, I've got this £9 can of beer. You ain't eating tomorrow."
Yeah, but she don't need food. She's fine.
No, she doesn't need food. She doesn't need food. Yeah, it is what it is, and and ridiculously, and I get more angry about a shit cheap beer than expensive beer, and that's wrong. But I don't. That's just me. And she always says, thinking.
Oh, am I glitching or are you?
Yeah.
All good?
Yeah. Well, see, I think we're back. It's my laptop. My laptop's not good. I don't know what's happening here. Hang on.
Oh, we need to get one of them technical
we're
issues
back.
banners.
Yeah. Gremlins in the machine.
Well, you've got to stop feeding them after midnight.
The funny thing is, and this is scary. This is how things get looked at. So we were looking at Halloween costumes yesterday.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, there's a local one in Pompey, completely off track. Don't care. My channel, to all I'm about. There's a fancy dress shop in town, and there was a gizmo dressing up costume. And then this morning, was it yesterday or this morning, Wanda? Yesterday, she looked on her Facebook, and it's advertising gizmo stuff all over it, and it's like, all right, but I'm not. There's nothing to do with Wanda. That's on me. It's like, fucking what are people watching?
The internet, unfortunately, is it's as great as it is worrying and scary.
Yeah, I completely. I don't disagree with that. That's absolutely spot. We're back. Apparently, Graham says we're back.
Look at the comments.
Matthew Barker, hello mate, how you doing? Good evening, guys. Really enjoyed the Sierra Nevada revisit with Dean. Dean's down next weekend, so we're doing some stuff next weekend. Don't know what we're doing yet, but we'll all good. I haven't had this Falk City yet, but I had the new mint vocation. I thought it was a banger. I couldn't agree more. It's, for me, it's the best supermarket beer this year. It's been fucking. I know you're not a massive fan of stouts and things like that, Dan.
I mean, it's for me. I don't. It's not really a taste thing as much for me. It's just I find it's a sweet drink is very peculiar to me. Like I'll have a sugar in my tea if it's the morning and I need to get going. Otherwise, I'm not. I try to stick away from sugar after having so much of it as a kid, constantly on cereal and stuff. So
yeah.
I mean, like that one that I tried the other day that Wanda let me have a little bit of. It was lovely. It was like chocolatey and
was
like
that the Ferrero Rocher one?
That was
or the unbarred one.
No, I think it was the first one that she. I think it was.
Yeah, she had the Ferrero Rocher from New Bristol.
Yeah. So it was that one. It was really nice. It was lovely. It was chocolatey. Like again, I don't know because I literally just went for a sip and didn't sniff it first. Like even before I got the glass to my face, I could hit with that waft. But I don't know, just a chocolatey, alcoholic-y drink that isn't like a thick milk chocolate. It's just a very peculiar. I don't know. It feels very peculiar to me. It's yeah. I just can't get my head around it. But it tastes nice.
Stouts are I mean, I've turned Wanda, and I don't. This is something I'm proud of, or she is either. So Wanda was never a beer drinker. She didn't like beer. She drank white wine or a sort of fruity cider. But I've turned her from someone that doesn't like beer at all to someone that loves certainly a sweet stout, between 5% and 7%. And chocolatey, she's all over it. And she's it's I don't see it as an accomplishment. But it's nice that I've got someone that I can go and have a drink with and be appreciative of that beer as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nice as well that she kind of tried, like to try something that you like, and it was kind of a, a cultural
I
exchange
support.
almost.
I support her Disney. She supports my beer.
Yeah.
Matt Barker says, "Good evening, Mark. Thanks for sending me that beer. Really enjoyed your video this evening. It's a great video. If you haven't watched Mark's video tonight, go watch it. Well worth the time." Mark Jones, I prefer 3 or 4 £5 cans of good craft beer at the weekend than paying £30 to £40 going out. And I think that's the thing. And I think that's my problem with the Perfect Draft machine is that it's because, for me, it should always be cheaper to drink at home than it is to go out. I had a pint of Punk IPA at the Brewdog last week, and it cost me almost £6 when I've been up. I can go up to Spoons, and it's there for £3.79, and that's the problem. Or I could buy a few cans. Not that I drink a great deal of it anymore, but when it's when it's more expensive to stay in than to go out, and we've all got support pubs and breweries and tap rooms, because if you don't do that, then we're going to fucking lose them, and that's really important. Places like Dan's, Six Barrels, any tap room you've got that's near you, a local brewery, anything like that, and you've got a few quid to spend that you can spare, then go and give them your money, because otherwise they are going to go out of business. It's really important.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I think, again, like I say, it just, it goes back to what I was saying before, what we were saying before about price and stuff. Like you say, you go to Brewdog, they're like, oh yeah, £6 for a pint of punk. You go to Wetherspoons, they're like, yeah, £3.75. And I appreciate that Wetherspoons can buy in a bulk that allows them to, which, independent bars such as, my the one I work at, the Brewer's Tap, one of your favourite bars, we don't have that sort of buying power to be able to get the prices down that low.
No.
But I mean, it's trying to like strike a balancing act. And I would say that I think that's what sort of annoys me is I feel like with Brewdog being the kind of, and I say this not trying to trigger you, but as Brewdog sort of being like the sort of champion of craft beer as far as the industry is concerned, as far as the public's probably concerned as well.
Yep.
It's really dismaying to go to one of their establishments and see them charge so fucking much because they try and make the Brewdog places, as far as I can see, kind of like an independent bar, but bigger.
Yep.
And with them being kind of this, and that's their whole kind of supposed brand, is being independent and different and rebellious. And it's, I grew up where all my friends were loving grunge and Nirvana. I love punk music, and to see them so be like, we're punk, we're a rebel, and then just absolutely ring everyone for every last cent and penny they can. It's really frustrating, and I don't like the image it puts out personally.
I think that when they first came, they were the rebellious teenager on the block, driving tanks up streets, promote the king of promotion. And I've always been very honest about this. Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, the Torpedo from Sierra Nevada, Punk IPA, and probably Life and Death from Vocation. Those were the beers that that changed how I viewed beers. And when you look at certainly Punk IPA now, I remember Dean called it something along the lines of a historical beer that no longer it's trading on the name of something that no longer exists.
Yeah.
And you look at Brewdog, that they're sat. You've got independent breweries here. You've got big business here, like big breweries like AB and Bev, Heineken, Molson Coors, and you've got Brewdog now sat just below them because they're the biggest supplier of beer below those big beers into supermarkets. So they're omnipresent everywhere you go. They've got the most shelf space. which I don't mind. I don't mind that, as long as the beer warrants it. And sadly, those beers on those shelves, they don't warrant it.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong, because this is going to be something that you're going to be way more knowledgeable about myself. But sometimes when I walk into the supermarkets and stuff, I sort of feel, and I mean, what we're talking about you and stuff, we often go into the supermarket and look at the beer aisle just to see what's there. Not even sometimes to get stuff. It's just to look and see what they've got.
Me and you do that together. The daily disappointment.
And I do feel sometimes like it feels like Punk are just there throwing stuff at the wall, just waiting for something to really stick. Because it's like there's always something new every month or so. There's some sort of new variety, or like now Hazy James with guava. Is that something that you feel is like
I don't completely disagree with that. There's a lot of channels now that won't touch BrewDog. For whatever reason, whether it's political or ethical or the fact they just don't like their beer. And that, that's absolutely their choice. And I completely get that. For me, running a channel that's, at the moment, it will say Wanda will, and she's absolutely right, it's beer heavy at the moment. I didn't want to get beer heavy again, but I invested in BrewDog years ago.
Really?
Yeah. The equity for Punk scheme, I put some money into that. When I got divorced, I was always a Punk proponent. I was a BrewDog proponent. There's still that little piece of me that's still there, and all I want from them is to make a decent beer.
Yeah.
So I go in, I see a new BrewDog beer. I'll put it on the channel. One, it'll do okay for views. Two, as a monetized channel, it has a chance of making its fucking money back because nothing else does. And three, I've still got that little piece of me that wants that beer to be good.
Yeah,
I'm desperate. I'm desperate for that beer to be good. And when it's not, that's when I lose my fucking shit because I'm like, you know what? I'm invested in this brewery, and I have been for not invested in money, but in time for 10 years. I just want them to make a decent beer.
Yeah, I can appreciate that completely. And to be fair, it is something that I have heard you voice many times before. That it's just you just want it to be good. You don't. Yep. It's not about anything else. It's just want the beer to be good, or
It's like takeovers of Beavertown and solely owned by Heineken and all this other bottle. I don't care. I don't care. I just want these breweries to make decent beer. That's all I want.
Yeah.
George Boz. Evening, guys. Have you tried the beers from is that Cernabus in Dorset? No, I haven't, mate.
We have had some of those in the barrels though.
Okay.
Because I believe if that's the brewery I'm thinking of, they have the image is like the is it the chalk man on the hill?
Right.
It's like I don't know if I'm sure it's in Dorset somewhere. I believe if that's the brewery, then we've had some of their beers in at the barrels. I can't say that I've tasted any myself, but they go down in a storm when they've been in.
Alamede, hello, how are you doing, Alan? A lovely Alamede. A quick stop in to say hello. Then I'm off to pick the missus up from work, so no beer until tomorrow.
Oh,
sorry to hear that, mate. Matt says, I'm a massive fan of stouts and porters. It's my favourite style, but I understand it's not for everybody. I got there with stouts, to be fair. It wasn't a style that I was massively a fan of. I do like them now and appreciate them more than ever, to be fair.
Yeah,
Alan said, "No, sorry, buddy."
I was just saying, I totally would say I'd agree with Alan there. Just for me, like a stout would be something I would have like one of like in the winter more than the autumn for me.
Well, Wanda's happy now that the winter nights are setting in and the breweries are beginning to bring those stouts and porters in. She's a happy lady.
I bet she is.
Mark Jones has got some Punk 300ml cans in the fridge. My go-to beer at home, if nothing else, and cheap and accessible.
Yeah,
and no nonsense. To be fair, me and Dean have talked about doing a video on the core range beers: Punk IPA, Life and Death from Vocation, Soundwave from Siren, and there was another one. And just see what is the best of the lot. To be fair, they're all knockback stuff and easily accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
Matthew Barker says, I think the last decent thing Brewdog did was the collab with La Trappe. They had Practice What You Preach. They had that in the fridge in Southampton last week. It was called, they got rave reviews, but I doubt Brewdog came up. That was brewed at La Trappe. I do know that was brewed at La Trappe. So what Brewdog had, if anything to do with that, is probably minimal. But that was in the fridge last week. I almost picked one of them up. Is that beer you're drinking, Scott, from Tesco? Yeah, Mark, that's available in Tesco's nationwide. It's not bad. It's raspberry, strawberry, coconut, ripple.
It's lovely.
It's okay.
Could be more.
George Boss says, sorry guys, but I see Brewdog as a crappy newfangled beer with a high mixture of sulfates and hangover ingredients. Not for me.
I love that. Hangover ingredients. That's great. I love that.
Love it. Now, wrong with that, Scott. We all need a calm. I'm always calm. Matt Barker, I get what you both mean. You keep giving Brewdog that chance time and time again because you know what they can do if they tried, and each time you keep getting let down. So, same thing with Tiny Rebel. I completely agree. Tiny Rebel have shot themselves in the foot. You know what there, bud? Know what he's just done. Yeah, Tiny Rebel shot themselves in the foot, became too heavy on adjuncts and just confused themselves a little bit, which is sad, really, because their beer always used to be quite good. Brad Evans, that's the trouble with companies when they get too big, not just Brewdog, but any company. It's like they start out with a love of the product, then as the product grows, it becomes about profit. And Brewdog, they've not just become about profit, they've become about their message, their eco messages, their branding, and all that bollocks. I don't care. I don't care about politics on a can of beer. I'm not interested. I care about the product that's in it, not the fucking wrapping.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's wrap it up, Dan. I'm going to go next week.
Oh,
I bet it's gone now, isn't it?
Oh no, there you come back. You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. So, big question, mate. Would you buy it again?
Oh, definitely. I will admit that I do have another one of these already in the fridge.
Right. So, you got another one in the fridge? Is that for the girlfriend?
Might be.
Yeah. I'm going to say I would definitely buy it again as well, actually. Yeah, I do. I'm not a massive fan of sours, but hey, right, Hugo's been a pain. Yeah, it's okay. I'm pleasantly surprised with that. Coconut is not. I'm not a massive fan of coconut and beers. In all honesty, it could be a bit hit and miss for me. That's okay.
Yeah, for me, Vault City, every single one I've tried of the sours, they have just always been good. They've not always been as sour as I'd like, but they've been amazing.
Yeah. Lovely. Right. Thank you very much for everybody that's watched. Thank you for Shitcan Dan for giving us his time.
Well, thank you for having me on.
And we'll do something else, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Just don't go anywhere, Dan. See you soon.
Bye.